let's have a look at how we analyse the features of the graphs when we're doing two independent group experiment. So key ideas: shape, centre, spread. Okay, and remember this section, the first part of it, you'll be doing as a group, collecting your data, designing your experiment, all that's done in a group. The analysis and conclusion must be done individually. All right, so let's have a look. So in my graph here, I've got my dominant hand and my non-dominant hand, and I first of all want to look for that shape. So draw our pen over the data, and they're quite flat, so I might look at changing the size of the data point just to make the shape a bit easier to tell. But I want to just look first of all and say, right, does it look like a normal graph? Does it look like it's right skewed, or does it look like it's left skewed? And so I'm going to say that both of them, and I can see this particularly when I look from the median in the middle, look at the distance to each of the tails. Same with this graph there, distance to each of the tails. You can see it's much longer on the right-hand side. So that's why I'm going to say that the distributions of the time that students can write with their dominant and non-dominant hand are skewed to the right, because I need to justify it. They've got a longer tail on that right-hand side. So that's my first step, shape. Okay, now I want to look for centre. So I want to say, right, well, the median time for my dominant hand and the median time for my non-dominant hand. And I can see that my median time for my non-dominant hand is 53 seconds, whereas the median time for my non-dominant hand is 115.5 seconds. So which one takes longer? Well, the non-dominant hand is taking longer than the dominant hand, and I want to find out what the difference between it is. So I'm going to do the subtraction. So I'm going to do 115.5 minus 53, and that's going to give me a difference of 64.5 seconds. So I can say that the median time that students write with their dominant hand is 64.5 seconds quicker than the median time they write with their non-dominant hand. And then my evidence for that is going back to the median it's 51, not 53. Sorry, is that me not being able to read the graph? Okay, so on the graph there, that should be 51 seconds, not 53. That's just me not being able to read it. Okay, so shape and centre. The next thing we want to do is look at our spread. So to look at the spread, I want to compare how spread out the middle 50% is. So I'm looking at how wide these middle boxes are. So I'm just looking at the box. And when I look at those two little arrows that I've just drawn, the non-dominant hand, that's quite a lot more spread out than the dominant hand. So that's the comparison that I want to first of all make. So I want to say that the spread of the middle 50% of data for our non-dominant hand is nearly twice as spread out as the time for their dominant hand. All right. Now, in terms of evidence, I need to find the interquartile range. Now, remember, a formula for interquartile range is upper quartile minus lower quartile. So I'm going to look at my lower quartile and my upper quartile, subtract those two numbers, do the same for my non-dominant, upper quartile minus the lower quartile, and that's the calculations I've got there. So there's my 41.5 and my 23.5 seconds. So that's my evidence to back up what I've noticed about the spread.